the themes of the play, and as you might remember, at the beginning of the play, at the beginning of the semester, we talked about the play, and we kind of discussed many of the themes that are relevant to the play. There are many themes. We might have touched on some of them as we were kind of talking about the play. There is the theme of feminist reading of the play, or kind of the role of female characters in the play. There is another theme which is very prominent in the play, which is capitalism. And still there is another theme which is maybe kind of family relations or father-son relationships. Okay, another theme might also be the American dream, as you might have guessed. It's not maybe mentioned by name in the play, but most of the play is revolving around that, like the idea of success or how to be successful in the United States and so on. There are many other themes. One thing also about nature, about the natural landscape, or the kind of the contrast between nature and culture that Arthur Miller was kind of advocating maybe in the play. So these are many of the themes in the play. Okay, and so today I'm going to talk about maybe one or two of these, and I will make a lecture about the others, also to cover all of them. I wish we'll have a kind of some discussion about that, because it's not supposed to be a lecture, it is supposed to be a discussion. So I would like to start with capitalism. Certainly I've kind of known something about that. You've read something. Maybe you've thought about capitalism in the play. Okay, I'm going to ask you questions, and so please try to raise your hands in order to answer these questions as we go on. Just feel free to do that. I've muted all of you just to prevent any kind of intrusive voices or sounds from here and there, just to get it more orderly. But of course, you are welcome to unmute yourself. Okay, and if you want to say anything, try to just unmute yourself and say it, and raise your hand and say it. You're welcome to do that. Okay, so we start, as we said, with capitalism, and as we know, capitalism refers to a certain economic system. Of course, there are many other words that are related to capitalism. One thing might be democracy, and one thing might be liberalism, one thing might be individualism, and so on. Okay, although these words are different, but they are related to each other. They form a system, a system of ideas. Okay, and each word refers to one aspect of that system. Like democracy refers to the political aspect of the system. Okay, and of course the example that we have here is Western society. These are the kind of epitome example that we can give for the system. Okay, so on the political aspect, on the political level, we have democracy. On the economic level, we have capitalism. And on the kind of cultural level, we have like liberalism, and individualism, which are also related to each other. These are more related to culture and ethics. they all refer to one system, like democracy, capitalism, individualism, liberalism, and so on. Okay, so and they all revolve around the idea of freedom or liberty. Like democracy means giving the freedom for people to choose their political representatives. Capitalism means giving the freedom for people to trade and do business with each other without kind of restrictions from the state. Liberalism means behaving in a way that you're not constrained by the society, by the overall society. And individualism also more or less refers to the same thing, like you can behave, the individual is foregrounded, and the kind of the collective is backgrounded. So the importance, the emphasis is on the individual, not on the society. Like as an individual, you have the right to behave in any way that you want, provided that you do not infringe on the liberties of other people. You don't have to conform to the ideas of values of the society. The society is not as much important as the individual. So you see that it's also individualism is also about the idea of freedom. Like you have the right to behave in a way. You are free to behave in a way that even the society might consider not acceptable, of course, as long as you are not kind of infringing on the liberties and the boundaries of other people. So these are kind of aspects of the same system. As we said, now this is a system that has the best examples of it in the United States, of course, and in Western Europe. The capitalist system is contrasted with another system, which is the socialist system, socialism, or hierarchy. Okay, socialism is also related to other words or aspects, like in socialist societies, instead of having democracy, maybe we have kind of bureaucracy, sometimes dictatorship, kind of a kind of dictatorship by an elite, يعني ديكتاتورية من قبل النخبة. Whatever this elite might be, they might be intellectuals, they might be the army, they might be whatever. Okay, there's not too much freedom for people to choose their representatives, and they might have come by a revolution, by an armed revolution. So there's not too much room for freedom with kind of dictatorship and so on. Socialism refers to the economic side, and socialism means that the way to do business, the trade, the market should be controlled by the state. So there should not be too much freedom for the market. Okay, and also on the other side, we have this collective, and from on the level of values, we have this collectivism. Like the individual is not very much important or significant as the society. Okay, so the interests of the individual are kind of sidelined or kind of superseded by the interests of the society. So I hope you can see the contrast and so on. Capitalism is all, there is of course discussion and debate still going on whether which system is better. Is the capitalist system or the socialist system? And of course, each one of you might have their own opinion about that. It's not my job to speak about that. But capitalism is sometimes criticized on moral issues, on moral grounds. Okay, يعني دائما الرأسمالية تنتقد من ناحية أو على أسس أخلاقية. That in capitalism, the poor are getting poorer and the rich are getting richer, and that in capitalism, the poor are oppressed by the rich, they are not given opportunity, that capitalism is indifferent, is not concerned about the fate of the poor, and blah, blah, blah. Okay, so with the play, the question of capitalism and the relevance of capitalism or the responsibility of capitalism to the fate of Willy Loman. How far is capitalism responsible for the death or for the failure of Willy Loman is a question that is always raised. Is Willy Loman a failure because of the capitalist system, because he was a victim for that system, or no? He just failed on personal grounds. Like he's a failure by himself. That maybe there are some personal or psychological reasons which can explain his failure, and maybe we cannot blame his failure on capitalism. So this is the main question that is raised in relation to the play, and this is a question that you might be asked, of course, to give your opinion about in the exam. Okay, so now I am interested to hear from you about this. So each one of you who wants to speak, you are welcome. Just raise your hand, unmute yourself. Okay, and try to tell us what you think about that. Is capitalism responsible for the failure of Willy Loman, or no, he is responsible for his own failure? What do you think? Any ideas about that?
Yes, doctor, excuse me.
Yes, Fatma, go on.
I think there's a mix of causes that caused the failure of Willy Loman, that himself and the system of capitalism, both of them. Because I think capitalism is also related with the American dream. It is a cause of
yes, to a certain extent, yes.
Yes. So as Willy Loman has bought into the American dream, and it has destroyed him, because he has much of his lifetime and he is toiled in the system, and simply then he failed to understand the premise of that system or that dream. He believes that the recipe of the success is to be impressive and well-liked, and he worked a lot for...
Fatma, to be just briefly, do you think that capitalism is or is not responsible for the failure of Willy Loman?
Yes, I think so, because he served for a lot of time, and then they didn't give him what he deserves.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Fatma. Thank you very much. I will come back to you later. Okay. Beida, do you want to say something? Yes, go on.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
Willy Loman is a victim of capitalism.
Yeah.
Because he works hard for more than 36 years for the company.
Yeah.
And he traveled from road to another road and from one state to another. But the result, when he's tired and he's become old and cannot traveling anymore, the company did not give him any things. But
yeah, they did not give him a pension Yeah, تقاعد. Okay, or any, all right.
But he also make him lost his work after he's tired and he cannot work anymore. So I think even he lost his youth and the work hard in the company and make the company increase and become large and have many office in the New York. But the result, the company give him nothing.
Okay, thank you very much, Baida. That's a good point. One question maybe I needed to clarify or to specify more. I think we need to speak about capitalism in relation to characters in the play. Whom do you think the characters who represent the capitalist view in the play? Baida,
The owner of the company, Howard, I
Howard,
think.
good. Howard Wagner,
Yes.
yes. Okay.
Yes.
So you think that the form of capitalism that Howard represents is this an ethical view of capitalism, right?
Yes, I think capitalism is deceive people in that time.
Okay, okay. Thank you. So then your answer is that capitalism is responsible for the
Failure
for the failure
of the
okay.
of the
Okay. Is there any Baida, is there any other character you think who represents the capitalist view in the play?
I don't know exactly. I don't know.
Okay. Okay. If you can think of one, you can of course make an intervention later. Thank you very much, Baida, for your intervention. Okay. Any other ideas about that? So we have so far raised two questions. One of them is about whether capitalism is or is not responsible, and the other question, which is related to that, is whether who among the characters represent the capitalist view. Okay, so I think have Haya, if you want to say something.
Good evening, Doctor.
Good evening.
I'm Salma, not
Salma, okay.
Sorry. Good evening. About capitalism and communist, along with Marx and along with these two systems, I think they are always in a clash together. Yes. And at that time, I think Willie time, I think it is on the, what we can say, it is the almost of its clash between these two.
Okay, Salma, might I ask you a question?
Yes.
Which system do you think is kind of better or more suitable to you?
Communist, I think it's failure because Ittihad Sovieti, it's gone. It's all gone and it's all failure. And but capitalism, I think it is still remaining, but it is in developing. It's changing. It's not like before. رأس المال هو اللي متحكم يعني البنوك ورأس المال هو اللي متحكم بالمجتمع. And even I think, but I don't blame totally the capitalism for the error of Willy Loman. Willy Loman also is responsible for his flaws. He believed in something corrupted. And he built all his life on this corrupted idea that I have to get all this money, I have to make my sons do this and do that. If we compare with his friend Charlie, he's not. Also, he was successful and he got whatever.
That's a good point. Yes.
Yes, from the same community, from the same idea. Also. So we are responsible for our actions, what we are doing, what we are believing. I think this is the fault of Willy Loman, along with the society. I think also it has somehow responsible.
Okay, Salma, do you think that we have one view of capitalism or one capitalist vision in the play, or maybe capitalism is represented differently by different characters?
I think Ben, also his brother.
Good.
His
Ben,
brother.
yes.
Ben his brother, I think, because he was always showing himself that he is having money. Even in the play, he was showing himself that he is having money. Even in the play, he was showing himself that he is having money. And even I think Ben also his brother. Good. Ben, yes. Ben is.
Ben is.
In the play, he was wearing a white suit and always with his stick and his
Yeah.
hat, and he's aristocratic and always teasing his brother that I am rich and you are not. Always
Great.
this
Yes.
class.
Okay.
We can see, yes.
Okay.
And also Howard, yes.
Yeah. So you think Ben and Howard are kind of representatives of capitalist vision, right?
Yeah, in the story.
Okay. Good. Thank you very much, Salma. I might
Thank
come
you,
back
sir.
to you later.
Thank
Okay.
you, sir. Thank you.
Haya, do you want to say something or?
Good evening, sir.
Yes.
Capitalism, as we know, it's started after the First World. So many people just work hard to get a good life, as they believe.
Yeah.
So the capitalism, it's like individual life. That's make people failure in last, as Willy Loman. He's work hard every 36 years, so then he be old and cannot more work as when he is a younger, so he failure. And capitalism, it's make a class disputes between peoples and inequality and individual. That's not make people get success and worth.
Okay, so
Just
you think
everyone
capitalism
profit
is or is
himself.
not responsible for his failure? Yeah.
Sure, it's responsible with the failure of Willy Loman and others.
But why, for example, just like the example that Selma brought up, Charlie is also a person who belongs to the same background, to the same class of Willy Loman, but he succeeds within the society.
I think Charles, it's not like Willy Loman. It's the opposite of Willy Loman.
Yeah,
because
so
he is,
then maybe the problem
he-
is with Willy Loman, is not with capitalism, because capitalism
the
allows
the
people
problem
to
the
succeed.
problem is Willy Loman, because he denies the problem that he is not accept anyone help him, like his
Good, yeah.
son Happy, not accept Charlie, his friend, help him. He never accept anyone help him. He want to
Okay,
believe what he
so
believe.
my other question, which are the characters who are representatives of capitalist vision in the play?
Another one, I don't know, but I think Willy Loman, failure of and Biff. Biff, it's also
yeah,
because
okay.
he lead the same way with his father.
Okay.
I think that.
Okay. Thank you very much, Haya. Sarah, do you want to say something?
Yes. Good evening, sir. How are you?
Good evening. I'm fine. Thank you.
I think capitalism is a kind of merciless system, because it makes people work all the time from the very morning to the evening, and so they didn't have time. And they can't care of themselves. They can't think of anything, and they think that they will consequently have their dreams and got what they wanted in their life. So, but this is not a justification for Willy Loman to fail, because Charlie is, as my colleagues suggested, that even Charlie is from the same society.
Yes.
He did succeed, and yeah. So this is not a justification. He has an illusion in his mind. He didn't accept the idea that he should work hard in order. The more harder you work, so the more you gain. He was fascinated with the idea to be well liked and to be attractive in order to gain the people's attention.
So you think that it is both is and is not responsible for the failure of Willy Loman?
It is responsible, but he is also a reason for this failure.
Okay.
He contributes to this failure.
Thank you very much. Aqil, Can you please?
Yeah, hello, sir. How
Hello,
are you?
Aqil. How are you doing?
First of all, about the question you raised, comparison between each economic system is better.
Yeah.
And I think there is no economic system is better than the other. It's just a matter of how the state can adjust to one system, to one
Yeah.
economic system. Yeah. That's
Okay, Aqil, may I ask you a question?
yeah.
Okay, and this question is to everyone, like if you want to weigh in on this issue. Okay, if you are planning to migrate,
Yeah.
to leave Iraq and go and live in another society, in another country.
Yeah, I wish.
Okay, you want to get a refuge state, okay, يعني إذا تريد تروح تهاجر إلى بلد آخر.
Yeah.
Would you choose a capitalist society to live in, or would you choose a socialist society to live in?
I'm not gonna choose either one because
No, suppose it is a hypothetical question. I'm not saying that you are traveling and you are now packing your bags in order, and 2 hours later you are driving to the airport. I'm not saying that, but if you are planning to do that, which kind of society, which kind of system would you choose to spend your life in?
Okay, I'm gonna answer this question, but first I have a quick comment.
Yes.
There is a new ideas has emerged in the late 10 years or 20 years. There is an idea called democratic socialist, which is has succeeded in many European countries.
Like what?
Sorry,
like which countries?
Like Finland, Denmark.
Finland, okay.
Those states, yeah, have like mix between capitalism and socialism.
Yeah.
So it's very, very successful on their for their citizens. But if I referred a socialist overcome a capitalist is better than socialist is better, because
so
you
which
have a
country,
government.
which socialist country will you choose, like, to go?
Maybe China.
China is better.
Yeah, it's to some extent it's better. Have the stability and care for their citizens. You know, in the last 10 years, China has gotten bigger and bigger. Economics, even and everything. On the other hand, you have the United States. I am very good observer to the American society and their way of life. They live in a completely capitalist society, and
yes.
where is that led them? The richer is getting richer, and the poor are getting more miserable.
Okay.
That's another hand. And to the question about the Willy Loman,
yes.
whether a capitalist has destroyed him, in some extent, yeah. But on the other hand, he destroyed himself as well, because he kept chasing his dream without logical thinking.
Good.
I think if even if he had a logical thinking, but kept on going in this system, where does he gonna end? I think at the same place, because in a capitalist society, you're not gonna reach. You're not gonna be rich in that easy way. Sorry. Yeah, but in a socialist system, you're gonna live, you work fairly, and you deserve fairly, without the hard work you do.
Okay. Thank you, Aqil, very much. Aqil, who are the characters you think in the play who represent the capitalist vision, and what kind of vision do they represent in the play?
About this question, I'm really sorry, sir. I don't have much information to say other than what my colleague has said.
Okay. Well,
yeah,
thank you, Aqil, very much. That's very thoughtful. Okay. Any other contributions? Any other ideas? Okay. Well, these were kind of very insightful remarks that all of you have made. I think if you ask me about the same question, I think that capitalism is not very much responsible for the failure of Willy Loman as he is responsible for himself, for his own failure. Like his tragedy is self-inflicted. And the reason is just like when, as your colleague has pointed out very rightly, I think, that there are many other characters who belong to the same background as Willy Loman and who have the same opportunities as Willy Loman, but they have succeeded, okay? And so Arthur Miller maybe was not kind of very much criticizing capitalism because he gave us some examples that also live in the capitalist society. And by whom I mean mainly two characters, Charlie and Bernard. Okay, so Charlie is also a man who lives next door to Willy Loman, and that's mean in the same neighborhood, the same background. He's not rich, so on, but he is a man that depended on himself, that worked hard, and as a result, he has his own business, and he's all right. He's doing very well. He's faring very, very well in that society. Okay, and the other example is Bernard. Bernard also is a man who studied hard, and as a result, he attended college and he got a degree as a lawyer. And we saw that he's very prosperous. He is making a case in front of the Supreme Court. So even this idea of the American dream that we saw Willy Loman and his sons are very obsessed with, they did not achieve that American dream. But when we come to Bernard, we see that this person who did not utter anything about success, about American dream, and so on, we see Bernard as the perfect example of success, the man who worked hard and the man who achieved something. Like even when he was coming to Biff and he was asking that Biff will go to study, this is the kind of values that maybe the American dream was about. Like study means hard work, and in order to succeed, you need to have two main factors or personality traits and that help you to succeed. Okay, of course, this is other than IQ, and you know IQ, يعني معدل الذكاء. Okay, so other than IQ, there are two features that help you to succeed. One of them is industriousness, to be industrious. Industrious, yani hardworking, somebody who works hard for long hours maybe, and he's okay with that, or she's okay with that. And the other one is discipline, to be disciplined. Okay, so if you have these two features, these are good predictors of success. And among all other features, these are the main two important things. Of course, in addition to IQ. IQ, or your intelligence, is also very important for success. Okay, so what we see that with Bernard, he has these two things, and these are of the core ideas of the American dream, and these are of the main ideas of the capitalist ethic: to be hard worker, to be disciplined, to be orderly, and so on. Okay, so we see that Bernard was doing these things and he succeeded. So the recipe for success that Bernard was using, which is of the core of the capitalist vision, were true. If you follow them, they will lead you to success. Okay, if you do not follow them, you will end up with failure. And this is what happened with Biff. Okay, so Biff and Happy, of course. So attractiveness or self-attractiveness is not something that is very crucial factor of success, as is industriousness and orderliness or discipline. So, and with Charlie, we see that we see a person from kind of a low background, low class, worked hard, and he achieved success. We see Bernard worked hard and also achieved success. So, and from this, I don't think that Arthur Miller was intending to kind of criticize capitalism for that. Okay. And also when we speak about capitalism, we need to be kind of careful, because there is not one vision of capitalism, as also the same with socialism and others. So when we speak about the West, North America and Western Europe, all these countries are capitalist. But when, for example, as you might be aware of, capitalism in the United States is not the same capitalism, for example, in the United Kingdom. That one is not in Scandinavian countries like Sweden or Denmark or Norway. Okay, and that's not the capitalism in, for example, Germany or France and so on. So when we speak about capitalism, we need also to be careful, okay, because what kind of example we pick will also influence our judgment on capitalism. When we see in the play, as also one of your colleagues has rightly pointed out, there are some characters who represent the capitalist vision. One of them is Ben. And the kind of capitalism that Ben is representing or advocating is kind of brutal capitalism. It's kind of an unethical capitalism. Like, he's kind of a colonialist. He went, you remember he said that he had a very kind of bad knowledge of geography. He thought that he was going north to Alaska, but then it seemed that he was sailing towards Africa. And in Africa, of course, he was able to invest in the diamond mines. And he became very, very rich and out of that. Okay, so okay, so he became very rich out of that, and of course, when he went to Africa and when he kind of mined for diamond, this diamond is kind of stolen. That it's not his. It belongs to the native people who live out there, to the native population. But it's kind of stealing, like when he was investing in the diamond. And also, you remember when Biff was stealing from the sand. When Willy Loman was asking his sons to steal from the sand just to impress his brother, so that he will show that he has some fearless boys. Okay, Charlie said that the prisons are full of fearless boys. So you don't need to, you have to stop your boys from stealing. Ben, on the other hand, was encouraging them to steal. He said also the stock market is full of fearless people. So he was encouraging Biff to steal from the sand, okay, from those buildings. And also, you might remember from the lecture that I posted on YouTube, the last one. He also, you remember, was kind of trying to fight with Biff, to train him to fight just for a short time, and he said to him, "Don't fight fair with a stranger. Like when you are fighting with a stranger, don't fight fair." Okay, so and you don't fight with the right way. Try to cheat, like that's to say. So this kind of unethical, immoral capitalism that Ben was representing. Okay, and also we have the capitalism of Howard. Howard was very cold, and Willy Loman asked him to help him to find a job for him, an office job. Okay, in his own city, because he's too old to be driving anymore, going from one state to another, from one city to another. Howard kind of refused. Okay, and the thing that he said, business is business. Okay, and well, we know that business is business, which means that personal relationships, emotions have nothing in business, have nothing to do with business. Like there's no place for emotions, there is no place for personal relationship, there is no place for empathy or sympathy or mercy. There's no place for anything like that in business. So the vision or the view that Howard also is giving about capitalism is kind of very, very harsh, very cruel, very brutal, just like the one that that Ben was representing. Okay, and Willy Loman was saying to him, he answered him with very human answer. He said to him, you cannot eat the orange and throw the peel away. يعني ما تقدر تاكل الفاكهة وتذب القشور. يعني like he's like يعني Willy Loman was saying to them, I spent my life serving this company. I gave everything in my life to this company when I was strong, when I was young. Okay, and now after I am useless, you are throwing me away, just like you throw the peel of the fruit. And this is very harsh, really, when you realize that by the end of your life, when you realize that people are treating you like that the company you spent your whole life working for and serving is treating you like that. Okay, so I think that there are many views that are presented about capitalism. Charlie is one view, and Ben is another view, and still Howard presents a third view about capitalism. And always, even Charlie and Ben, and although these two characters did not meet each other, but there is a relationship between them. Like when Willy Loman was playing cards with Charlie, he said to him, you remind me of my brother Ben. And then he started to imagine the coming of Ben and how he was speaking with Ben. And you remember that conversation where Willy Loman was at the same time speaking to Charlie and Ben at the same time. And so Willy Loman has two options of capitalism. One that is represented by Charlie, and the other one that is represented by Ben. Okay, and Willy Loman was preferring the model that Ben was offering rather than the one that Charlie was offering. That's why he was very respectful of Ben. He was asking him, how did you succeed? He wanted to know the secret of success from him and so on, but he was very disrespectful with Charlie. He was trying always to insult Charlie, as you remember, okay? And so he even dismissed Charlie. Charlie needed to leave because Willy Loman was disrespectful with him. So Charlie needed to leave, okay, on behalf of Ben. يعني اللي صار انه يعني there are two options of capitalism, one that is presented by Charlie, and the view of capitalism that is presented by Charlie is the kind of moral capitalism. And although he succeeded, but still he's humble. Although he succeeded, he still has the sense of the human sense of human relationships. He was helping his neighbor and so on. He was not arrogant with Willy Loman. He was always trying to help Willy Loman. So, Arthur Miller is giving us many examples of capitalism. One example, as we said, is represented by by Charlie, which is kind of very moral capitalism, and the other one, the brutal capitalism that is presented, the brutal and unethical capitalism that is presented by Ben, and the harsh or also brutal capitalism that is presented by Howard. Okay, so Willie chooses the view that is presented or offered by Ben. Okay, that's why he was very much respectful with his brother Ben. You know, although he knows that his brother Ben is colonialist, not ethical, okay, but he prefers him to his neighbor Charlie. And this is ironical because Ben did not offer to help Willie of anything, but rather Charlie was offering to help Willie of everything. But Willie was choosing Ben to Charlie. Okay, are you following me or not? Are you following me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, yes,
Okay.
we are. Yes, yes, sure.
Okay, there is a scene at the beginning of Act 2. I think you're aware of that scene where Willie Loman goes to Howard and asks him. I think you have read something about that or watched that in the movie. Did you not?
Yes, Doctor.
Okay.
Yes, sure.
So I'm going to share the video of the scene, not the Hoffman version of the scene, but another version that is also very expressive of that. And we're going to watch that and see how Arthur Miller presented Howard and the kind of capitalism that Howard represents. So let me know if you can hear from the sound of the video.
Say, aren't you supposed to be in Boston? That's what I want to talk to you about. Howard, you got a minute?
Can you hear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. So just try to see, it is a long one. I'm going to fast forward the video. Just try to see how Howard is treating Willie Loman.
What are you doing here? Well, you didn't crack up again, did you? No. 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 Oh, geez, you had me worried there for a minute. What's the trouble? Well, tell you the truth, Howard. I've come to the decision that I'd rather not travel anymore. Not travel? Well, what'll you do? Well, you remember Christmas time when you had the party here? You said you'd try to think of some spot for me here in town. Oh, with us? Well, sure. Oh, well, yeah, I remember. Well, gee, I couldn't think of anything for you. I tell you, Howard, well, the kids are all grown up, you know, and I don't need much anymore. If I could take home $65 a week, I could swing it. Yeah? I'll tell you why, Howard. Speaking frankly, between the two of us, though, huh? I'm just a little tired. Oh. Well, I could understand that, but you're a road man, Willie. And, well, we do a road business. See, we've only got half a dozen salesmen on the floor here. God knows, Howard, look, I never asked a favor of any man. Oh, no. I was with the firm when your father used to carry you in here in his arm. Oh, I know that, Willie. Well, but your father came to me on the day you were born. He asked me what I thought of the name of Howard. May he rest in peace. No, I appreciate that, Willie, but there just is no spot here for you. If I had a spot, I'd slam you right in. But I just don't have a single solitary spot. Howard, Howard. All I need to set my table is $50 a week.
Now, where am I going to put you, kid?
It isn't a question of whether I can sell merchandise, is it?
No, but it's a business, kid. And everybody's got to pull his own weight.
Just let me tell you a little story, Howard.
But you got to admit, business is business.
Oh, business is definitely business. Just listen for a minute. You don't understand this. See, when I was a boy, 18, 19, I was already on the road. It was a question.
Okay, I'm going to fast forward the...
Across this desk. You mustn't tell me you've got people to see. Not me. I put 34 years. This firm, Howard, can't pay my insurance. You can't eat the orange and throw the peel away. A man is not a piece of fruit. Pay attention. Your father, 1928. 1928. I had a big year. I averaged $170 a week in commissions in 1928.
No, Willie, you never averaged $170 a week.
I averaged $170 a week in the year of 1928. Your father came to me. No. I was in the office here, right over this desk. He put his hand on my shoulder.
You'll have to excuse me. Willie! Willie! I gotta see some people. Pull yourself together. I'll be back in a little while.
Howard, pull myself together. What the hell?
Okay, so yeah, I've watched the video. What do you think about the scene? What kind of feelings, emotions does it trigger in you when you watch the scene? Can you hear me or not?
Yes, we can. Can I say something?
Yes, go on.
I have seen, I think, I feel angry, sad. I want to slap Howard, all these mixed emotions, but he should not expect something big from his firm, as long as all his time he was traveling far away, and he never asked to stay in the city to work. I wonder why all these years he kept silent, and then now he started to ask about his rights.
Maybe he was asking them repeatedly to do that, but they did not accept, just like this time.
Yes, I think this is normally, we can see like these characters all the time. All this, the play, give us models of personal persons. They are living among us. Somebody like Willie Loman, somebody like Howard, somebody like Ben. I think they are all around us. Arthur Miller, he's giving us like a combination of characters. We can see each one in our life.
Good. Salma, may I ask you a question?
Yes.
What do you think about the acting in this scene? This is kind of a sideline question.
The acting is nice, very nice, but I think I like Dustin Hoffman. That play, I love it because I have repeated so many times. I like Dustin Hoffman.
I prefer this version to Hoffman's version.
Dustin Hoffman, he was marvelous in showing the weakness, because you know this actor, he's gentle and he is big. He's big body, but Willie Loman and Dustin Hoffman, he's short and he was really looking very weak, and the face was full of emotions, and I love it. I don't know, that time really I cried.
Okay.
Yeah, I cried from that one, but then when I saw this one, I was just comparing.
Okay. This is a scene. It's not secret, but this is a scene that reduces me to tears every time I watch it.
Yes, yes.
It's, I think, one of the greatest scenes that I have ever
Yes,
watched
right.
in movie or
Right.
theatrical production. It's kind of marvelous how he's put that.
But also Arthur Miller, he's showing us the two kind of people: the ideal people whom they are not looking for money, and the people whom they are looking for money. Even in our society, who is looking for something, following his heart, and whatever he wants to do, he always a loser, in nothing he gains. The ideal people, the other side, whom they are just thinking about money, they are success, and they are getting whatever they want. Always we are facing these kind of characters in
thank
the
you,
life.
Thank you very much, Selma. I think.
Thank you, sir.
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Anyone else wants to weigh in on that issue? What do you think about the scene? What kind of meanings? I think Fatma wants to.
Yes, hello, sir.
Hello, Fatma.
When I see the scene or the act, that I feel really bad, because it's the nature of the human beings. When they get a benefit of someone, they throw it away. It's like a bill. Yeah, it's really a very nice metaphor how he used the orange on the peel, how he threw it.
Yeah.
Yes, and how they act the scene's really powerful. How they picture or depict the feeling of the angry, the sadness. It's really nice.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Fatma, do you think there are many Howards in our own society? That
yes, of course.
There are?
Yes, of course. Yes, it's the nature of the human being. Everyone think of just of himself, not the other.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, Fatma, any other thing or any other kind of idea that the scene triggers in your head, your mind?
Other times, just that the idea that I talk about.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Okay, any more ideas about the scene? Any more ideas or emotions that the scene might have triggered in your minds when you have either when you have read it or when you have watched it? I think some of you have watched it more than once. So this scene is important, although I kind of jumped to Act 2, which I did not explain in the text. But this scene is important because I think in all the criticism of capitalism in the play is based on the scene. That people, when they see the scene, they kind of start this view of capitalism is this cold, brutal, indifferent, impersonal, whatever you call it, okay, that Howard Wagner represents. And another thing that you might have also watched in the scene, something that I skipped, Howard was trying to, having a voice recorder, and he was trying to, he recorded some voices of his wife and his children, and he was kind of experimenting with the voice recorder and trying to show Willy Loman how wonderful that machine is. Okay, why do you think Arthur Miller inserted this this part in the scene? You know, was it necessary that there is something about this machine, the voice recorder, and the way Howard was reacting to it, and the way maybe Willy Loman was acting to it? Okay, Sarah?
Yes, sir.
Yes, go on.
I think I think that Arthur Miller creates this scene in order to tell us that that technology is now being replaced. I mean, human beings are being replaced by technology. Yes.
Good. Okay.
So Howard is like symbolizing to Willie that there is no benefit of you anymore, and machines and technology is
good. Yeah.
is better than.
Yes. That's good. Okay. Any other ideas that you think maybe Arthur Miller was intending to convey through that? The insertion of the recorder or voice recorder scene in this.
I don't know, actually. It's kind of symbolizes that how technology is now developed.
Okay, other students, thank you, Sarah. Thank you very much. Other students, do you have anything to add about the voice recorder scene in the conversation between Howard and Willie? Any ideas about that? Do you think this is necessary, or it's just to fill in the blanks?
May I say something,
yes,
Doctor?
Go on. Yeah.
I think the idea of this device that it is the materialist, it is now dominant instead of the humanity, that this is come instead of humanity. Now we can see that at that time start to big factories and people, they were working there. I think the machine now is coming, and now it is invaded, I think, instead of
okay, so you think even by the voice recorder, like Arthur Miller was trying to criticize capitalism?
Materials maybe, but I think when he was giving the voices of his children and wife, I think he was just showing that from romantic side of Willy Loman. I think.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much, Selma. Okay, any other ideas about the voice recording machine? Okay, so let me answer that question. This is my idea. Of course, you might come up with some different, more insightful ideas about that. First of all, I think this kind of, when we hear that, we should feel how far advanced we are now. Like, we take the voice recorder as a given, and every time, wherever we turn, there are voice recorders, like with computers, with mobile phones, with tablets, with everywhere, there are voice recorders. So it's kind of a given, something that we take for granted, but it was not always the case, voice recorder. Like when we see now, the play was speaking about the 1940s, and you see Howard has earned a voice recorder and how happy he is and how excited and saying how wonderful that machine is, that it can record the voices of his wife and children. Okay, this is one thing. Okay, but I think there are two ironies that Arthur Miller was trying to point out to. The first irony is how kind of unfeeling Howard was. Like Willy Loman, we know for quite a long time was not earning anything. Every week he goes to Charlie in order to borrow $50 a week, okay, in order to pay for his expenses, for the house and for the insurance and so on, and for the bills. Okay, so he doesn't have any money, and he's coming to Howard because he doesn't have any money. And Howard was saying to Willie, why don't you buy one of these voice recorders? It is not very expensive. It is just $150. So you see how kind of, I don't know what to call it, like Willy Loman doesn't have any money to eat. Okay, and Howard was just saying that why don't you buy a voice recorder? It is just $150. Okay, so $150 for Howard is nothing, but for Willie it is too much. He cannot get $150 in a month. Okay, so you see how ironical that was, and I think this is strongly intended by Arthur Miller to show that. And the other thing, the other irony, and it is very painful, really. Howard was listening to recorded voices to absent people. His wife and children were not present. They were absent. And even the voices and the sentences they were uttering is just nonsense. It's just children playing with each other or making sounds that are barely meaningful. Okay, so he rather wants to listen to these voices, to these absent, recorded, canned voices, and he doesn't want to listen to a real voice, to a human voice who is just standing beside him, and to a voice that is very, very honest, to a voice that is speaking about a very real problem, and to someone who was trying to solve his own problem. Can you see the irony or not? Can you see that irony?
Yes.
Yeah,
yes, very bad, very bad. Yes, right.
Yes,
right.
Very
sad.
Very painful.
Very sad.
Like,
yes.
Willy Loman wants to speak to him, and he doesn't
very
listen to Willy Loman, but rather he listens to the recording, which is meaningless.
Senseless. He was very senseless.
Yes, that's very painful when you are with a person who was supposed to be your boss for quite a long time, okay, and he rather prefers to listen to some voices from a recorder, and you are speaking to him, and he does not pay any attention to you. That's very painful. Like, I just don't know how to describe that. Okay, and there is one thing about Howard that maybe shows the humanity of Howard. His sense of family, or his concern about his family, and his eagerness to hear the voices of his family members, even when they are absent. Does that not change your view about Howard, that after all, he's also a human being, and he has a wife, and he has kids about whom he cares too much? Does he not seem human after all? That when he's bringing the recorder just to record the voices of his wife and his children and listen to them when they are absent. So does that add kind of humanity to Howard? Haya, you want to say something?
Yes, sir, because he's denying to listen to a here man need to help him. He's just ignores Willy Loman and not hear him, because but in fact Willy Loman in that time need to work or his service that lead him to suicide. This ignorance from his manager lead him to kill himself. That's because he feel disappointment.
Good. Okay. Well, thank you, Haya. Okay. Any other ideas about that issue? Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes, this make Howard less. This make Howard a little bit human being, that he cares of his children. But I think this is because he is dealing with Willie like business. He is not evoking emotion or anything. Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, so now I think you have kind of a very fair idea of about capitalism. Okay, in the play, one question that we asked about whether capitalism is responsible or not responsible for Willy Loman. Of course, in the exam you are free to say it is or it is not, provided that you give reasons. When you say capitalism is responsible for the failure of Willy Loman, you have to give reasons why. And if you say that it is not responsible, you also have to give reasons why. And we saw that there are many versions of capitalism that are presented in the play. Like one of them is presented by Charlie, which is moral capitalism. Another one is presented by Ben, which is very brutal and ethical capitalism. And the other one is presented by Howard, which is cold and impersonal, indifferent to other people. That is kind of represented by the character of Howard Wagner. It is also another version of capitalism. Capitalism, as we said, is not a hegemonic system. Look, there is no one version of capitalism. There are many versions of capitalism, and maybe Arthur Miller was not of the idea of whether saying that capitalism is good or not good and so on, but rather he's presenting us with examples and he's giving us the freedom to choose among these examples. Okay, one last point I want to raise about that is the play, the time the play was speaking about, and now this our time in 2020. Of course, the play was speaking about one time in the 1940s, and then it was returning back to 1928. Okay, and as we said before, and you remember even Dr. Amr in his session was speaking about that. In 1929, 1929 سنة 1929 we have an event, a global event, which is called the Great Depression. I think you are aware of that. الكساد الأعظم. Okay, صارت يعني a financial crisis in the United States and everywhere in the world. Okay, and this financial crisis kind of destroyed millions of families all over the globe and so on. Okay, and now when you compare that to our time, to 2020, where we also have a financial crisis. Okay, do you think that the play in some ways or another reflect on this time? Is it relevant to the time that we are living in? Do you think that when, for example, we are choosing to study this play, it has something to say about our current time? Any ideas, any comparisons that you might be able to draw between this time and the 1920s?
Yeah, I mean, I say something, Doctor?
Yes. Yeah.
I think this play, it is like universal, something universal. We can put all the characters in any time and any place. It's not only for its time. We can, even in our society, you can see somebody like Howard, you can see somebody like Willie, somebody like Biff, Linda, all these characters, they are universal. Everybody, every time we can see them, we can touch them, and we can even feel about them.
Yeah.
Even the capitalism, their time also we can see in our work sometimes when the boss or the manager, how they deal with you as if you are you are just a thing. You are coming to do some work, and then if you are not good, they just throw you away. If you are sick, if you are something, and I face this.
Does that happen in our society, you think?
Yes, it happens. We have thousands of Howard, we have thousands of Willie. It's
yes.
Yes, I think something in the happen. Yes.
Okay,
So I think it is like universal. It is it is coming for all the times and all societies.
Okay, good. Thank you, Salma. I think I have another raised hand. So who is there, please? Yes, would you like to say anything?
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam. Who is with us, please?
Beida Jasim.
Okay, Ellen, go on.
I think the play reflects the reality of the life. Every character represents a real character in human life.
Yes.
The character, some character represents the dark side of a human.
Yeah.
Like Howard, who he's unselfish, unsympathetic with the other peoples.
Yeah.
But even in this hard circumstance, there are some people who are kind and try to give help to other people, like the neighbor of Wally Charlie.
Good.
Even in the hard circumstance, he given him helps, and he pay him money, and he offer him work or job. But I think this kind of people is can be found in this time. Even in the hard circumstance, I see a lot of people give help to others. But there are also a dark side of other people who don't care about the suffering of others. So that I think every characters in the play represent another character in our life. So I think it is reflect our life.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, Veda. Haya, do you want to say something?
Sir, can I say something?
Yes, go on.
I think, sir, the place reflect the real situation in that time, because as my experience, we young people work since 3 or 2 years in government department without earning anything. And the government ignore our voice, ignore our demands.
So do you think that the government is a boss like Howard? Like,
Yes, because gives money for people not deserve that, and ignores youth with hard work in department, okay, in government department without earn anything. It's just waiting. Even government see this our situation, see or do anything. So I think it's capitalism in real situation in this year exactly.
Okay, yeah, because even something also relevant here, when we hear about companies that are kind of sending their workers away now because of the economic crisis and so on. We see even some oil companies, maybe in Basra and elsewhere, are saying to their employees, "We are sorry, we cannot keep you anymore." Okay, and it's even harsher. Sometimes they say to them, "We can't keep you, but we give you half the salary that we used to give you before." Okay, and sometimes 1/4 of the salary that we used to give you before. So does that not remind you of Howard? Like
this sir, I think it's in company, but I talk
company,
about the government department as with it's something. I think it's different.
Yes,
company,
I know. With the private sector,
maybe giving salary, maybe giving something at a reward, but in government we work since 3 years, since 4 years. without anything, without just talking,
yes,
talking. Nothing else.
I can't feel that's very bad. Yeah.
Yes. So
Yeah.
it's so bad because what do you think? Just waiting
Yes,
something to
I
change.
know. Yes, it is.
Maybe some people leave this government department, another stay, but
yes,
nothing.
yes. Difficult to make a choice in these cases.
Yeah.
Yes.
Even the old man or women who um, not work then because I don't know how to say that people who الناس اللي بصراحة طلعوا تقاعد يعني هاي السنة.
Yes, yes.
This is so bad because and it sadly said that it's okay not given a time before that what people say. This is, I think, it's some kind of capitalism. It's my view.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much. Others, do you want to say anything about that? Do you have any ideas about that? How what took place in this scene in that play might also reflect on what's going on in even in the society that we are living in, the current situation that we are going through. Any ideas? Okay, so if there's nothing more to say about that, I would wrap up with every thing. So we have discussed just one theme of all the play, and it is among the most important themes in the play. We have talked about another theme previously in one of the lectures about feminism, about the representation of female characters in the play. Of course, we don't have time to go over that now. I might make a lecture of that offline and post it on YouTube to speak about the other themes. And we might make another lecture maybe next week before Wednesday, just to wrap things up and summarize things in the play so that you'll have a good view of what to study and focus on in this play. Okay, so thank you very much for coming in, for joining this lecture. Thank you for those who contributed to the discussion, and have a good night. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Doctor. Good night.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, good night.